Have you ever sat in a room full of people, friends, family, even a partner, and realized, with a sudden, chilling clarity, that if you disappeared right now, the version of you they would remember isn't actually you? You realize that they are mourning a character you've played, a collection of habits you've displayed, or a filtered version of your personality that you've carefully curated for their comfort. There is a profound, echoing silence between who you are when you are alone and who the world thinks you are. The truth is, nobody actually knows you. And while that sounds like a tragedy, it might actually be the most liberating realization of your life. We live in an era of hyperconnectivity, where we share our locations, our meals, our opinions, and our aesthetics every hour of the day. But we have never been more invisible. We are living in a paradox. The more we broadcast, the more we hide. We are essentially building digital and social avatars that represent us, but they are not us. They are the high-performance versions of our souls. We show our achievements, our smiles, and our witty remarks. But we hide the 3 AM anxiety, the weird thoughts we have when we stare at the ceiling, and the deep-seated fears that we are not enough. We wear these masks so often that we eventually forget where the mask ends and our actual face begins. The first reason nobody knows you is the social mask. From the moment we are children, we are taught to be pleasant. We are taught to play roles: the good student, the reliable friend, the supportive son or daughter. We learn very early on that some parts of us are acceptable to society, while others are not. So, we split. We create a front stage self that performs for the world, and a backstage self that only comes out in the dark. You might be the funniest person in your friend group, but inside, you are struggling with a profound sense of emptiness. You might be the strong one everyone leans on, but nobody knows that you are exhausted and just want to be held. Because you've played the role of the strong one for so long, you've essentially trained people to ignore your pain. The second barrier to being known is the language of the soul. Have you ever tried to describe a deep, complex feeling to someone, a mix of nostalgia, sadness, and hope, only to have it come out as "I'm just feeling a bit tired"? Language is a crude tool. We try to compress the infinite complexity of our consciousness into small, vibrated air particles called words. It's like trying to paint a sunset using only 2 colors. Every time you speak, something is lost in translation. Your internal monologue is a symphony, but the world only hears the occasional drumbeat. This creates a wall of isolation. Even if someone wants to know you, they are limited by your ability to explain yourself and their ability to listen. Furthermore, we must address the psychological reality of projection. The truth is, people don't see you. They see a reflection of themselves. When someone looks at you, they are looking through a lens filtered by their own traumas, their own childhood, their own biases, and their own desires. If someone has a fear of abandonment, they will see your need for space as a sign that you don't care. If someone is competitive, they will see your success as a threat. They are not interacting with you, they are interacting with their interpretation of you. You are a side character in their story, and they've written your lines based on what they need you to be. This is why you can be 10 different people to 10 different individuals, and none of them are the real you. The third reason is the fear of being too much. We hide the messy parts of our lives because we are terrified that if people saw the real us, the parts that aren't edited, the parts that feel broken or weird, they would leave. We live with a constant, underlying fear that our true self is unlovable. So, we censor ourselves. We hold back that weird joke. We don't mention our strange hobbies, and we definitely don't talk about our mental health struggles. We want to belong so badly that we sacrifice our authenticity to pay the price of admission into a group. But the tragedy is that when you belong while wearing a mask, you don't actually feel seen. You feel like a fraud. You feel that they like the mask, not the wearer. But here is where the perspective shifts. Why is it actually good that nobody knows you? Because your internal world is your only true sanctuary. There is a sacredness in being unknown. There are parts of your soul that belong only to you, the way you feel when you hear a specific song, the dreams you have that are too big for words, the quiet strength you found when you were at your lowest point. If everyone knew everything about you, you would have no private garden to retreat to. Your unknown self is where your creativity lives, where your resilience grows, and where your true identity is formed, away from the judging eyes of the world. Being unknown means you are free to change. If people have a fixed idea of who you are, they will try to keep you in that box. They will say, "That's not like you," or "You've changed." But because nobody really knows the depth of your potential, you are free to reinvent yourself every single day. You aren't tied to their expectations because their expectations are based on a ghost, not the living, breathing human you are becoming. You can start that new project. You can change your style. You can adopt a new mindset. And you don't owe anyone an explanation, because they never held the real you to begin with. So, how do we bridge the gap? How do we find connection if we can never be fully known? The answer isn't to try and make everyone understand you. The answer is to know yourself. Most of the pain we feel from not being understood actually comes from our own lack of self-understanding. When you are deeply rooted in who you are, it doesn't matter as much if the world misinterprets you. You become your own witness. You become the person who sees your struggles, who celebrates your small wins, and who understands your silence. You stop performing for an audience and start living for yourself. To find genuine connection, you must be willing to be vulnerable, but only with those who have earned the right to hear your story. You don't need to be known by everyone. You just need to be seen by a few who are willing to look past the mask. And even then, accept that there will always be a small, quiet part of you that is yours alone. That isn't loneliness. That is soul-ownership. Start treating your internal world like a masterpiece that doesn't need a gallery. Stop trying to be relatable and start being real. When you stop worrying about whether people get you, you gain a level of confidence that is unshakable. You are the protagonist of a story that is being written in real time. The most important person in the room, the one who truly needs to know you, accept you, and love you, is the one looking back at you in the mirror. You are a whole world. An unexplored territory, a mystery even to yourself. Embrace the fact that you are too much for some and not enough for others. Because for the right person, which is you, you are exactly what you need to be. The ghost in the room is finally coming home to itself. And that is where your power begins. Stop waiting to be discovered. Start discovering yourself. Because the only person who can truly set you free from the burden of being unknown is the one who has been with you since the very beginning. It's time to stop performing and start existing. Your mystery is your strength. Own it.